everybody, and welcome back to your Google Classroom lessons. This lesson is going to focus on how we can use Google Classroom for collaborative work. It does make it really easy for digital collaboration without having to customize the sharing settings from the individual documents. So I'm going to show you how we can allow students to be able to work collaboratively in one file, or how we can do some collaborative learning for group work. Those two different scenarios. So first we're going to look at collaborating in one file. Now this idea comes from Alice Keeler. She said, why would I as a teacher want to have to go through 30 different files to look at how the students are doing, especially when it's just a formative assignment, when I can look in one file and be able to see how they're doing. And how we use that is with using Google Slides. What we can do is we can make sure that there's a slide for each student. The students can either know which slide is theirs, or they can go in and they can choose their slides. So I'm going to show you what I mean. This is an example of a place value activity where I want students to be able to model a number using the math manipulatives that I've put on this slide. I've created a slide where students are able to put in their name, and then I've created some duplicated math manipulatives for them to be able to drag across. And of course, they're going to be able to put what number they're modeling right here in this text box. Now, I could put this in the Google Classroom and distribute it to each child as make a copy, which means I'm going to have to go through 30, sometimes plus, of those different files and look how each student is doing. We know that's necessary when it comes to a summative assessment because we do need to know how the child is doing individually. But what if we just wanted to do some formative practice? I wanted the students to be able to go and look and learn from each other. What I can do is I can duplicate this slide so that I can have as many as I need for all of my students. I'm going to assign one file to my Google Classroom. Now, this can get scary. You're thinking, a kid's gonna go onto another slide and they're gonna delete something of somebody else's. And you are absolutely correct. What happens is we need to teach digital collaboration. And so I am gonna share with you some activities we do with people to help them learn how to do collaborative slides. So what I'm going to do first is show you how I set up this particular set of slides. I want to duplicate this slide because I don't want to have to build this over and over and over again. So what you do is with the slide selected on the left-hand side, you're going to hit the shortcut Control-D. Or of course, you know that you can right-click and you can duplicate a slide. I just really like shortcuts. So I'm going to go through and I'm going to start duplicating my slides. And I'm just hitting Control-D over and over and over again until I have as many slides as I need students. Now, a little pro tip for you here is if you don't want it to be the Wild West of kids going in here and choosing slides and things like that, you can number your students. We do this all the time in school. We say, Trish, you're always number 4. Every single time you line up your number 4, your computer's number 4, your slide's number 4, however you want to do that. Or you can have the students go in and they're going to visually see who's on what slide and they're going to know to be able to move around. So now I have this great place value mat where students are able to go in, select their slide, and customize it with their name. They would be able to drag over their manipulatives, and they would even be able to insert the numbers in the text box. To give you a good idea of how each one of them is doing. One of the reasons we really like this activity is students at multiple levels can show their understanding in a variety of different ways, as well as look at each other's work. Now, how would I assign this in the Google Classroom? Well, I'm going to show you by visiting classroom.google.com. Now that I'm here, I'm going to make the assignment. So just like in our previous lessons, we're going to create an assignment for a collaborative place value. So now that I've created my assignment and I've given my instructions, I'm going to go ahead and attach the file that we've just done, our collaborative practice, from my Google Drive. Once I add it, what's really important here is instead of students can view the file, I'm going to change it to students can edit the file, which means everyone has editing privileges on the exact same set of slides. This can also be done for Google Docs, Google Drawings, Google Sheets, it doesn't matter. This is a great way to be able to set the sharing permissions without having to type a whole bunch of email addresses. But I do warn you, it takes some practice of how do we collaborate digitally and not delete each other's work. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to say assign. This is then going to go under our topic of place value. And now when students go in it, we're going to be able to see where they're working. So now this is the student view. They're going to be opening up this assignment and they're going to be able to view that assignment. And what's really fantastic is they will click on the collaborative place value slides, and they're going to be in here and being able to select their slide and be able to work on it. Now for students, they're going to be able to see who is actually in this classroom. So right now they can see that their teacher is in this classroom with them. They can even hover and see which slide a particular person is on. So let's say, for example, I was the student, I would see that Trish is on slide number 2, which means I need to go and select another slide. Each person who's in the classroom is actually assigned a color. This comes in very handy for when you're trying to determine who did what on a slide. Now the student is able to do their work. So back to the teacher view, I can also go in and I can look at the assignment, and I can even click on the slides. Now as the teacher, I'm in here being able to look at the different students all working independently at the same time as well though. When I'm in here, I can see who is working in here and where they are. So I can see that this student, my demo student, is in the classroom. I can see that they are on slide number 3. I'm even able to go to slide number 3. I can see where they're currently working on the page. And what's really fantastic is I can also leave a comment for them talking about their work and how they're doing. Any comments I leave for the student will be docked on the right-hand side of their slide. What's great is you can encourage students to visit each other's slides and to also leave comments or ask questions, allowing for some true digital collaboration. It is a huge teacher time saver though, because I only need to open up one set of slides and I can see exactly who's worked on what and where. So it's really fun to give it a try. Now, like I said before, you're going to really want to make sure you practice this before you use this for different activities. Once students learn how to use collaborative slides, it's something they can do over and over again for exit tickets, warm-up activities, group work, reader's response, math questions, you name it, they can go in and they can work on their own particular slide and design it. One of the activities we like to do to help everybody learn about collaborative slides is called the Slides of Awesome. We've attached a copy of it for you below if you want to make your own copy. What we get students to do is do an all about me poster essentially. Tell us about you, insert pictures, videos, backgrounds. It teaches them how to use the tool as well as it teaches them how to collaborate. And when it all goes crazy because somebody deleted something or changed something, changed the template, we can have that teachable moment and show them how to be able to operate within Google Slides. But version history is our very good friend because it tells us who did what, where, and when. Let me show you what I mean. I'm going to open up my Slides of Awesome, and you can see right now I have this all completely set up as a blank template where students can learn about the Slides of Awesome. There's even a little book trailer there, and they go ahead and they choose a slide and then they design it to tell you all about them. I use this activity quite a bit in professional development. Let me show you about version history so you can see what I mean. File, Version History, see Version History. Your digital footprint is completely captured every single keystroke along the way. It doesn't disappear. So you can see that I restored this to my nice blank version, but on August 22nd, I had a great PD here at St. Peter's with some of our Google Ninjas where everyone was learning how to use Google Slides. I can see here on every single page where everyone was working, how they're doing, who learned how to insert pictures and videos and all those lovely things, GIFs. I can go and see that, oh, and there I restored it again to another version. I did another PD with another whole group of students. Every single one of these will show me who did what, when, how long did it take them, and so it's a really good way to be able to keep track of student work and see how they're doing. But also for myself, once the kids have gone in there and mucked it all up, I can simply come in and I can restore that version. So now it's nice and blank and ready to use again. So I definitely give it a try. Try it with your staffs, try it with your students, try it for lots of different activities. It takes a little bit of time, but it's totally worth it because it will save you in the end because you don't only have to go into one file. Plus students are able to learn through and with each other. So that's the end of this lesson. I hope you enjoyed collaborative slides. Now, I do want to show you one more little tiny extra thing. You don't have to do it this way, but what if you wanted to do group work? Being able to assign edit privileges to specific students is really, really handy. So we have a lesson that was created by one of our very own Google Ninjas, Brandy Clark. She was inspired by the book, Don't Let the Pigeon Stay Up Late, and she wanted students to be able to create a collaborative copy of their own book. So here she's made a template that I've shared with you below, and it says write your own pigeon book in just 10 steps. And I would want students to be able to come in here with their groups and be able to collaboratively work on the different pages. I also want to be able to share with them the YouTube video to be inspired just like Brandy was. How do I get this to only specific students? Because the thing is, I don't want all 30 students to be working on this. I want small groups of students to be able to create their own copies. Well, just like we learned in our personalized learning lesson, I can take this template with added privileges and only give it to certain students. I can then reuse that post and assign it to different students. Let me show you what that looks like. All right, I'm going to go ahead and create the assignment for being able to write our own Pigeon book. All right, I'm going to go to my drive. I'm going to go find my Pigeon file and I'm going to attach it. I'm going to make sure that instead of students can view a file, I say the students can edit the file. Then I'm going to include the YouTube video for them as well. I'm going to copy that link and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put it in my classroom. Now I can go ahead and I can assign this activity to just the specific students who are in this group, this co-writing group. Then I'll be able to reuse this post and assign it to a different group of students, making new copies of the attachments. Now my students that I've assigned it to will be able to go in here and work together on writing this book. So that's just one idea of how students can use this, going from the slides of awesome to maybe some place value activities to writing their own stories together. Collaboration is a great way to make learning come to life and have a built-in thinking partner. Give it a try, and we've left templates and copies down below for you, and a big thanks to Brandy Clark for creating that assignment.